Every parent knows the battle. Tears, pleading, untouched broccoli left behind. Yet in Japan, 98% of children eat vegetables daily, no bribes, no standoffs, while childhood obesity is 6 times lower than in the US. Their secret is not a recipe, it is a thousand-year philosophy encoded in school lunches and family tables. So what exactly do Japanese parents know about raising adventurous eaters, and why have we not tried it? Centuries before nutrition labels or calorie charts, Japanese families gathered around meals shaped by a quiet philosophy of balance and gratitude. In the Edo period, cooks followed the principle Ichiju Sansai, one soup, 3 dishes, creating harmony on every table. This structure was not about abundance, but about careful proportion: rice, miso soup, a main, and 2 sides, often vegetables, brought the seasons indoors and made variety an everyday expectation, not a luxury. Religious traditions deepened this respect for food. Buddhist teachings reminded children and adults alike that every bowl of rice, every leaf of spinach, represented a life given. Shinto beliefs tied each meal to the rhythms of nature, urging people to eat what the land offered at that moment. Refusing food was more than turning down a taste. It risked disrespecting both the farmer and the spirit of the season. Rituals took root in daily life. Before eating, families would pause to say, "Itadakimasu," which means "I humbly receive," acknowledging the effort and sacrifice behind every bite. Even children learned that food was not just fuel, but a connection to the world beyond their plate. Waste was frowned upon, guided by the idea of mottainai, a deep regret over letting anything go unused. Gratitude threaded through each meal, shaping behavior as much as taste. These beliefs shaped not only what was eaten, but how. Meals became lessons in mindfulness, restraint, and social duty. The quiet power of these customs still lingers in Japanese homes and schools, making the act of eating a daily practice in respect, balance, and community. In the years after World War II, Japan faced a crisis that reached far beyond its ruined cities. Hunger threatened an entire generation. In 1954, the government took an extraordinary step: the school lunch law. It was not just about feeding children, it was a national strategy to rebuild health, unity, and resilience. Every child from Hokkaido to Okinawa would receive a hot, balanced meal at school designed by nutritionists and funded by public money. But the plan went further than nutrition. Lunch became an extension of the classroom. The Kaiushoku system required students to serve one another, rotating duties each week. There were no cafeteria workers. Instead, children donned aprons and hats, ladling out rice and vegetables to classmates. Teachers sat and ate the same meal, blurring the lines between authority and community. This ritual transformed lunch into a lesson in equality, responsibility, and respect. The impact was immediate and lasting. With every bowl of miso soup and every shared tray of seasonal vegetables, children learned that food was a common good, not a private preference. The state became the architect of daily habits, embedding gratitude and discipline into the rhythm of school life. Today, Japan's child obesity rate stands at just 3.5%, a figure unmatched in other developed countries. The roots of this health advantage stretch back to a policy that treated lunch not as a break, but as a civic duty, a quiet revolution that still shapes the nation's tables. Every school day, a quiet routine unfolds in classrooms across Japan. At exactly noon, lessons pause. 10 million children stand up, wash their hands, and line up for lunch. But there is no cafeteria staff waiting. Instead, a handful of students chosen for the week slip on white aprons, masks, and caps. These lunch captains carry trays from the kitchen, check portions, and serve each classmate with practiced care. Hygiene is non-negotiable, hands are scrubbed, utensils are sanitized, and every step follows a checklist enforced by both teachers and peers. The menu arrives from a central kitchen, planned by certified nutritionists and approved by the Education Ministry. Each meal is calculated to deliver 600 to 700 calories, less than 3 grams of salt, and a third of the day's protein, vitamins, and minerals. There's no room for processed foods or sugary snacks, and about 80% of ingredients come from local farms. Milk cartons line up beside bowls of rice and simmered vegetables, reflecting the season's harvest. Lunch is not a break from learning, it is another lesson. Students eat together at their desks. No one starts until everyone is served, and no one leaves until the meal is finished. The lunch captains, often the youngest or shyest, step into leadership roles for the week. They model calm, polite eating, and classmates follow suit. Teachers join in, eating the same meal, reinforcing that everyone is equal at the table. There is no reward for finishing quickly and no punishment for eating slowly. Instead, the focus is on shared responsibility and respect for the food and for each other. At home, the lessons of the classroom don't end with the last bell. Every month, parents receive detailed menus from the school listing every dish their child will eat. These are not just reminders, they are blueprints for the week's dinners and snacks, encouraging families to echo the same balance and variety. The government's food education policy, shokuiku, turns the kitchen into a second classroom. Recipes come with notes about seasonal ingredients and tips for making vegetables more appealing, like using bright colors or arranging food in playful shapes. On busy mornings, kitchens across Japan fill with the quiet focus of parents assembling bento boxes. About 2/3 of mothers craft lunches that look like storybook scenes, rice molded into animal faces, carrots cut into flowers, broccoli tucked in as tiny trees. It's not about hiding vegetables, but celebrating them. Children open their lunch lids to find familiar flavors presented in new ways, making even the most stubborn eater pause before turning up their nose. Exposure is the unspoken rule. A new food is not rejected after one try or even 5. Research backs the practice. Japanese parents introduce the same vegetable up to 15 times, offering a single bite alongside favorites. There are no threats, no bribes, and no backup meals waiting in the wings. If a child refuses, the food reappears later quietly without fuss. Over time, curiosity wins out. The message is gentle but firm. This is what we eat, and everyone is expected to try. In this daily routine, patience and repetition become the real secret ingredients. In Berkeley, California, a bold experiment replaced a la carte pizza with shared nutritionist-designed lunches. Within weeks, vegetable acceptance soared. Students who once pushed greens aside began finishing their plates, and district data reported a 20 to 30% rise in vegetable intake. Across the Pacific, Finland's universal free lunch program, built on similar principles of balance and in communal eating, now sees children eating 200 to 250 grams of vegetables daily, more than double the US average. South Korea's national expansion of school lunches, inspired in part by Japan, contributed to a 15% jump in vegetable consumption and a steady drop in childhood obesity. School administrators in these pilot sites describe a quiet transformation: children trying new foods together, meals that build community, and the slow disappearance of lunchtime battles over broccoli. Scaling Japan's approach comes with a steep price tag. Retrofitting US school kitchens for daily freshly prepared meals would cost between $8 and $12 billion. Most American schools rely on reheated, packaged lunches. Fewer than 1/3 have the facilities to cook from scratch. Nutritionists warn that without this investment, dreams of a vegetable-rich lunchroom remain out of reach. Public health economists point to the payoff. Models predict that adopting these methods could cut childhood obesity by up to 40% within a decade. The decision now sits at a crossroads: either accept the upfront cost and overhaul the system, or continue down a path where convenience outweighs children's long-term health. Right now, 1 in 5 Western children faces obesity, while Japanese classrooms prove that healthy eating is learned, not inherited. The difference isn't genetics, it's culture. As our food choices shape the next generation, the real challenge is whether we're ready to change the world on their plates. What would you change first?